going, friends? I'm Karina from Lifting Pins and Needles. I'm coming today from my balcony, from my bedroom upstairs. There's a really nice breeze. It's very hot already. The hot weather just came upon us very quickly, so I'm in full-blown spring. You can hear the birds and all that stuff around me as always. Anyway, today I want to show you the first of my hacks to the Duet Trousers by Love Notions. When I showed my original colorful pair, I'll pop a picture in here, I said this was giving me so many new opportunities. So what I've done since then, as I said, I transferred that pattern onto a pink cardboard, and it's like my pant master pattern now because I know it fits me. I don't have to worry about fitting it again. I just can alter things to it without worrying about the fit. So I've been having a lot of fun. So far, 3 projects. This is the first one I'm going to show you. This is the most simple project. So if you haven't watched the first vlog about the Duet Trousers, you can go back to that one. I'll link it here so you can see what I'm talking about. There you can see my process, and basically you'll see how the original pant is. What I'm going to show you now is a wide leg trouser hack, and I'm going to show you also how I did the pockets. Now, last time I didn't show you how, I just showed you the pockets, you know, but I'm going a bit deeper this time. So I have filmed some of the process here and there, and that is coming up now. Let's start with this inspiration picture I saw on Pinterest. It's just a pair of pants with wide legs. I want to achieve something similar to that, and I've put on my original duets, and I'm just marking there with my fingers, and then I'm going to pin there that is where I want my pants to start tapering out and getting wider. I'm going to show you how I would just widen the legs of the duet pants without modifying the top fit, you know, around the hips, around the crotch. That stays the same. So you can see the pink cardboard is my master pattern there on top of the paper. So I'm going to remove this pattern so you can see what I've done to the paper underneath to create my new pattern. You can see at the bottom that I have widened the legs by 1 inch to the side, both on the inseams and on the side seams on both legs. And I've started tapering out about on the same height for the front and the back, and I'll show you that up close. So from the waist seam, you know, you have that hip notch there. From the bottom of that notch, I measured about 8 centimeters down, both on the back and the front, and that's where I started widening. You can see there. Widen, just taper that line out all the way to the bottom. I've done that. And on the inseam, similar. From the tip there, about 14 centimeters down, that's where I started widening the leg all the way down. And I've done that on the front as well. So I want my seams to match. Now, this is a rough way to do it. I'll know the truth whether this looks good or not when I make the pants. But that is, I don't want them huge either. I just want them wider than the normal, you know, than the original pair. Now at the top, nothing has changed. Same pockets, same darts, same waistband. The only thing that has changed is the width of the legs. And that is it. I've also created a little fake pocket flap to go on the back. I'm actually not doing a pocket, but I'm just going to put a little flap there. And I've just guesstimated, I made it 14 centimeters wide, 5.5 centimeters in height. And here I've just drawn a little curve, and now I'm just going to fold this in half so I can trim that little curve and have them both be the same. And that is going to be my 4 pocket flap piece. I'm going to show you some of the features that I'm going to use in the pants. Some of them are in the original pattern, and others I've just added on myself. So these are the pocket pieces. I've chosen to do them in just black lining fabric because I didn't really have enough of the main fabric. So this is the pocket that will go attached onto the main pant there that you flip under. And then this is the piece that goes underneath that. So it's basically the same thing. They are identical, only that that piece includes all that hip area there. Now my add-on to this is, because I'm not cutting this out of the main fabric, but I do want the main fabric to peep through, you know, in the pocket. I've just cut out a piece of the main fabric that I'm going to overlock on the edges and stitch onto the pocket. So when I put my hands in my pocket, that little curve, this is the fabric that's going to show, not the lining. The other thing I've added on is a faux pocket flap. And I've got two flaps here that I'm going to place on the back, like fake pockets. I'm not going to do pockets, but I just wanted to do that. And now the waistbands, they're both on the fold, the back and the front, but I didn't have enough fabric to cut the two layers on the fold. So the layer that's going to be inside the internal waistband piece is going to have a seam, and you can see the pins there. They'll look the same, they'll be the same piece, only there'll be a seam there. And I've actually got the selvage there, so I don't have to finish that off. Here I've got my interfacing. I only interface one of these waistband pieces. I don't do both because I don't like the bulk. The first steps I've done is sew the front crotch, so that's under there. That's already sewn and overlocked and pressed. So I've got my pants right side up, and I've got my pocket piece on top, and it's just one whole piece. It's cut on the fold there. So I've got pins on the curves there of the pockets, and I'm going to sew those and then flip the pocket to the other side. I have already sewn that. I've clipped there so this can turn, and then after I flip this around like this, I've already understitched the pockets in there. So this piece looks like that. I'm going to turn this the other way. Okay, so this is the wrong side facing you, and you can see the curve of the pocket there is nicely closed in. It needs a good press. Then we have this other piece that could have been made out of the main fabric, but I didn't have enough, so I just cut it out of lining fabric, and then I sewed on a piece of fabric there that is going to be the visible bit. So that is what goes right there. And you can see these pieces match perfectly there. So this is what I need to sew on now. I need to sew these two together and finish the edges. However, I'm just going to overlock them, and then I'm going to baste these together at the hips here and on the waist up there, and then I'll have a completed front piece. So this is sort of how it's going to look once this is done. So I've made my fabric here go horizontal so that it contrasts with the vertical. So that is my idea. So I have a more polished view to show you, all pressed and sewn. Both of the pocket pieces have been sewn and overlocked together right there. I have also overlocked all the side seams because I'm going to press the side seams open on the side, so I overlock them separately there. I have overlocked the top just to put all the pieces together. Okay, so I've put my back pieces together. I've already sewn my back piece there. You can see the crotch has been sewn. So I have this, and I've thrown it on to my front piece. Right sides together. I'm going to sew the inseam. Then I'm going to sew the right side seam. And then everything's going to be left open so I can attach the waistband. And then at the end, the zipper. The top of the pant looks almost done, but it's actually not. I have sewn on the waistband, but the internal part of the waistband is still there flapping around. You can see on the inside only one of these pieces is interfaced. The internal one isn't, because I don't like the stiffness around my waist. You can see the pocket pieces are there. And the left leg is totally open, so totally flapping around there. The right one is closed, the inseams are closed, the pockets are ready. So I'm going to turn this inside out, and then I have to attach on that zipper and finish off that side seam. Here you can see them inside out. This still hasn't been stitched on. I need to finish the zipper here. Once that is done, I can go and then stitch in the ditch my waistband all the way around, finish that, and then hem, and then I'm done. I'm going to do a centered zipper insertion here on the hip. Now for this centered zipper insertion, you can see one of the sides already has a pocket, so I don't need to interface that, but the other side I did do a strip of iron-on interfacing just to provide stability. Fabric is quite thin. Here I'm trying them on. Ignore that little flappy thing on the front, was an experiment, failed. And that faux pocket flap, I've just pinned it on myself to see where I like it to be. Yeah, it was pretty hard pinning it on myself. I had no one to help me. You can see me playing around. Otherwise, the fit was no surprise. They fit perfect. I like the way the width of the legs turned out, so no changes there. As you can see, I chose a stripy print, vertical stripes. I like this fabric because it's got like thin and wide or different sorts of widths on the stripes. I think that's really cool. Can you hear the parrots? They're crazy. I can see them from here. Anyway, forget the parrots. They just always want to compete with my voice, don't they? I found this fabric in a local shop. The lady said it was a linen rayon blend. It's very soft, very fresh, very nice. It's still very wrinkly though. Like I look at them and they're already wrinkled. So here you can see the details. You can see inside there that little piece of fabric I put behind there, and I made the stripes going horizontal. Now this is basically for my viewing pleasure because, as you know, I don't tuck things in, so it's very rare that someone's actually going to see this detail. So it's basically for me. So pockets in there. I made the waistband go straight down because the thing about doing things on the cross grain, with waistbands on the cross grain, if you tend to wash these, sometimes the way the item shrinks isn't the same. So if I have a waistband on the cross grain, sometimes the waistband could shrink more than the actual pants, and then you're gonna have some weird puckering, and I would doubt doing the waistband on the cross grain. For this part, I really don't mind because it's just something that's stuck onto the pocket lining anyway in there. So yeah, that is the front, normal. Same zipper on the left hip there. I do a centered zipper insertion there. And just to add a bit of interest and to break the lines at the back, I added this fake little flap. So usually you'd have like a welt pocket in there, like you open the flap and then you like have a real pocket in there, but I didn't do that. So the little dot that's behind that's at the back there is sort of behind this little flap. And I used my last two buttons. You've seen me use these buttons on other projects. I think they're really cool and they were just perfect for this. So that's the back. These are very wide, very flowy. The leg is super wide. Now the difference, I measured the circumference at the bottom. My original Duet trousers have a circumference around the bottom of 42 centimeters, and these ones have a circumference of 58 centimeters. So it's quite a chunk I added on. As you can see, when I was modifying the pattern, I added on an inch on each side, on the inseam and on the side seam. And the place where I chose, you can see there, was very just intuitive, just trying on my original duets, fitting it on myself, looking at the mirror and seeing up to where do I want the original pant to be fitted and where do I want it to start flaring out. So no one can tell you, oh, certain distance, whatever. For me at least, I have to see it on myself, and having the original duet pants to compare to is always something I'll go to see what I can change and hack. So that's my method, and it's worked for me. I'm going to show you some pictures of these pants. I can't tell you how comfortable and fresh they are to wear. They are super comfortable, and I definitely need more solids to go with them. I always end up posing in the same black top because everything is print. I'd look like a clown basically. So have a look at the pictures. Cool. So I really enjoyed making these. These were nice and simple, nice and easy. I will continue making more of these in like thin lightweight fabrics. Probably rayon, I think, is a nice fabric for a style like this. So yeah, these are my last. I love it. I love it a lot. The next two duet trousers that you're gonna see throughout the month are gonna have add-ons, as I call them. So I've drafted a yoke at the back. I've drafted a different type of patch pocket to go on the back, a different type of patch pocket to go on the front. I've also drafted the fly extensions for a fly front zipper that I'm gonna do, and I'm gonna have a version culotte style, very wide legs, and another version in denim shorts. So I mean, this pattern is just opened up a door of possibilities with pants now that I know that they're gonna fit the hip area. You know, that part is gonna always stay the same, and then the rest is up for modification. I hope you enjoyed this vlog. You can apply these same principles to a pant pattern that you really like, that is your like TNT, that you like how the fit is around your, just around your bottom, your crotch, your hips, everything. And then you can just try that on, see where you want to make a change, transfer that to your pattern, and just go for it, just to widen the thing up. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification if you haven't, so you don't miss a sewing and fit tip with me. Bye.